Hi, it's Suzanne again from EFT-scripts.com. If you're new to EFT, you must really not try to follow this along, but watch this video in YouTube and go down to the description, and there is my link. You can download a free EFT how-to for you guide so that you can get the benefit from this video. Otherwise it might seem a bit weird and strange and you don't know what's going on. So assuming that you know EFT and you know that it's okay for you to have EFT, let's go ahead and do this tapping. And you probably know my style by now. I tap on my own issues and I share them with anybody who wants to benefit. And I've been through quite a unhappy journey recently, where I've had my boundaries stepped all over, even when I made it quite clear that the persons involved were stepping over my boundaries. They kept stepping over them. But I've taken every action that I can take as diplomatically as possible, given the parameters of the situation. And so hopefully there will be less stepping of boundaries from that side of things. So what brings me back to the last stepping of boundaries. I'm temporarily living in a country where people don't have much respect for each other, let's put it this way. I have some lovely clients. I really miss them. I've made some wonderful friendships. I will miss a lot of people when I leave this country. But unfortunately, a lot of people in this country are very disrespectful, and they don't respect that you have boundaries, and don't respect that you have rules. And I do have rules in the way that I work, and I make them quite clear. And if somebody doesn't like them, they don't have to come to me as a practitioner. And I also run an alternative health clinic. So it's the running of the alternative health clinic that somebody has overstepped the boundaries big time, and it meant that by doing so, they kind of ruined a client's experience here. I don't want to go into too much detail because I don't want to identify the person, but basically what I ask you to do is, if somebody has stepped over your boundaries, maybe recently, if it's a long time ago, don't choose a biggie for now, because this is a short video. So, but if you do happen to have stumbled upon a big stepping off your boundaries, and you're left there thinking, oh my God, what do I do at the end of this video, because it's only 15 minutes long. Replay the video over and over again as you tap on all the points, and wait for me to speak again, and keep tapping on all these points. Tap, tap, tap. Keep tapping on all these points, and until you feel calm. Even if you have to replay this video about 10-20 times, that's okay, all right? So choose a time when somebody stepped over your boundary. As you're tapping here on the collarbone, which isn't actually the collarbone itself, it's just these two knobbly bones here up here. And ask yourself, is there a time when that comes to your mind, when somebody stepped over the boundaries for you, when somebody took more than they should have from you, or took advantage of you, and you kind of didn't know how to say no, or you tried to say no, or you said no very clearly, but they still did it. What annoys me in particular is the consequences of when they ignore my saying no, because then I have to go and deal with the consequences as well, which I'm not very happy about. So on a scale from 10 to 0, rate how upset, how angry, how resentful, how yucky. Okay, put all those emotions together. Rate how yucky you feel about this incident. It must be one particular thing that happened one time. It could be something that happened a lot of times with someone or certain people, that's fine. Just choose one of those incidents. If not, imagine yourself choosing one of those incidents, okay? On a scale from 10 to 0, how intense are the bad feelings? Well, for me, about this particular one, it's maybe like a 9.8 out of 10. So I want to tap on it. Even though this person stepped over my boundaries and I feel very resentful and angry, and I even knew it was going to happen because of their manner beforehand, but I had no choice but to let this person use the premises, and so therefore this happened. I deeply love and accept myself. Even though I feel very frustrated because I'm protecting this person and I'm in a public place, I accept myself anyway. And lastly, for you to tap along with me, even though I have all these feelings about this person stepping over my boundaries, even after I said no, even after I said, no, you can't do this, no, this is where my boundaries lay, I accept myself anyway, and I just want to move forward. I want to let it go. Because they're not even aware of what they've done. They don't care what they've done. They're never going to care. They probably never will change. And so there's no point me holding on to it. They can't change, but I can change the way I feel about it. They stepped over my boundaries. It makes me fuming mad. They stepped over my boundaries. And it led to the consequences that were really unfair on other people. That's what gets me. When they stepped over the boundaries, it was unfair on other people. This particular person, not the person before them. And by the way, for those of you who are going to write in and say, my energy attracts people who step over my boundaries, don't worry, I've dealt with that, okay? My energy does not attract them. I just happen to have moved to a country where people don't respect boundaries, and in general, a lot of people do. And I have a lot of respect for them, and I really like them, and I get on with them like a house on fire, so there's no problems there, and I will miss them when I leave the country. But compared to where I come from, where most people would respect your boundaries, would respect it if you say no, coming to a country where most people don't respect when you say no is kind of hard to deal with. Going over my boundaries and the consequences thereof. When this person went over my boundaries, when I clearly said no, and they still went ahead. And the consequences thereof. The consequences thereof. Maybe to you there were no consequences, I really don't know, but to me there were. So whatever comes to your mind to tap on, just say it as you tap. Or just tap along with me as you think of that time when that person or people went over your boundaries, and you will borrow benefits from my tapping, which means that even though your issue is different to mine, you will still feel better after tapping along. And the tapping releases the yucky energy, the yucky feelings that come to the surface. And it's been scientifically proven to reduce the stress hormone cortisol. So it works, which is why I do it. I want to be fresh and happy when the next client comes, and I want to concentrate on my work today. I don't want to be in a situation where I'm angry and resentful. That person who stepped over my boundaries. Why do people do that? Why is it that when you say no, some people think that no means yes? Like, why? I know that for some people that they're mentally ill and it's something about the brain, they have a lack of impulse control, that the part of their brain which is responsible for controlling impulses just doesn't work properly. And I've had this conversation with somebody recently, and they said, well, you know that person is mentally ill, so why are you angry at them? I said, well, because the person in themselves know that they're mentally ill, and they know that there is medication available. This is where we get into a funny thing, because in certain cases, the person can, through things like tapping, like we're doing now, plus a particular diet, which has to be very rigid and strict, live quite happily without medication and not do the things that first person did. See, I've moved from the person today to the person before, so I obviously still have an issue with it. And, but I still think, like, if I knew I had a serious mental illness that could affect other people, and I knew that I was possibly going off the rails, I would take medication. And I would take it out of respect for the people. But I guess that person grew up in a household where there was no respect for boundaries, because their parents also had the same kind of brain. And the center of the part of the brain, I can't remember what it's called, but if you're a doctor or a nurse, whatever, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, or a psychologist. That part of the brain that is responsible for impulse control may not have been there for the parents, so the parents overstep boundaries, and so the child growing up didn't learn how to respect boundaries. And so when they overstep boundaries with other people, didn't think, oh no, I have to go on medication because I'm being danger to these people, I'm really upsetting a lot of people. They didn't think that way. And whereas logically I can reason it, I still think it is that person's responsibility to take responsibility of their health and go to the psychiatrist and say, please give me the medication because I'm hurting other people. I think that's the responsible thing to do, and I don't want to let this person off the hook because they're being irresponsible. So that's where we are. Thinking about this last person that upset me by stepping over my boundaries. As you can see, I have a flowing style of EFT. One thought leads to another, and probably as you're tapping, one thought will lead to another, and you'll end up healing a multiple of issues at once. And please do play this video over and over and over again until you get over that incident, because on a scale from 10 to 0, it's a 1 for me now. So let's see if we can completely get rid of it. When that person stepped over my boundaries, I want to let it go. I want to let it go. Oh, that person is an idiot. They're just a complete idiot. They'll always be an idiot. They'll always be a loser. And I don't want to have them in my energy field. Just want to let it go. Let it go. Whew. I see the person's face, and that's what's getting to me. That person's face. That person's face. Let it go. That person's face. Let it go. That person's face. I want to make it into the face of a clown. Or a clown or a court jester. Someone really stupid looking. Yeah. That clown. A stupid clown. Stupid clown. I hope this has helped you. If it's partially helped you, play over and over and over again till you feel better. Again, thanks you for watching. I hope it's helped. Share, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Bye-bye now.